Hello, and welcome to Soothing Pod's Sleep Stories. My name is Chris, and I am going to tell you a wonderful story that will lull you into a peaceful and restful sleep. Tonight, we'll hear about the myth of Pandora's Hope. Listen well, for in between the lines of this story, you may find many secrets of the human race, from fortunes to misfortunes, from weaknesses to strengths. And perhaps you will, as the ancient Greeks did, hold this story close in your heart and remember its meaning. But before we begin the story, let yourself relax and let go of any other thoughts and cares that may fill your mind at this moment. It's a good idea to be still and in an almost meditative state of mind when trying to fall asleep. The less you think about falling asleep, the easier sleep may come. So, take a deep breath and inhale. Rest, repose, relaxation. Then, exhale and let go of any heavy thoughts or worries of the day. Let's do a couple more inhales and exhales, and feel the weight of our bodies sinking deep into the mattress. If you are lying on your back, allow your hands to fall naturally by your sides, palms up, fingers relaxed and unclenched. Another deep inhale, and again exhale. And when you are ready, I'll tell you the story. Pandora was the first woman the gods ever created, and, as is expected of God's creations, she was the most beautiful creature they had ever made. As they looked upon her on the pedestal in the great hall, they marveled at this work of art. They called her Pandora, meaning all-giving. But not even the gods themselves realized at that first moment that it would be the woman herself who would become the greatest gift to humanity. It was Zeus, the god of gods, who combined a bit of earth and a bit of water, kneaded the consistency until it became clay in his hands, and began to work on the female form. Carefully, and with artistry only known to the gods, he formed her curves, her tresses, her body. With his swift hands, he made her fingers take shape, her hips and legs sway. When he was finished creating this creature, he invited the other gods and goddesses to bestow upon her any gift they wished. And so, the goddesses came, one by one, astounded by Zeus's latest work of art. Never before had they seen such a creature. Athena gave her the gift of craft, the skill with which her hands and fingers would learn about everything in the world. The goddess Aphrodite decided that she would gift her with charm and grace, and teach her how to use her beauty to work wonders on earth. But Aphrodite also gave her another gift, a painful yearning and consuming obsession. Everything she saw and knew, she would question further. She would become obsessed with knowing and knowing even more. Hermes, patron of both shepherds and thieves, thought this female creature was wonderful to behold. But what was a human without a knavish nature? He decided this would be his gift, and that her mind would never stop being busy. Zeus, creator of Pandora, thought Hermes' gift was clever. "Teach her to be stubborn, Hermes," he suggested. "Teach her to teach the males a lesson. With her charm and her wit, she'd be a match for the best of them." "Her curiosity will get the better of her," said Hermes. "But you have done well, mighty Zeus. This little creature is a wonder, even for me to behold." The other gods and goddesses too gave their attributes, and as Pandora was blessed by each of them, her skills added to her beauty. When all the gods and goddesses were finished, Zeus had one more gift for Pandora, a jar which he instructed her never to open. Pandora, of course, was now filled with even more curiosity. Only the gods and goddesses knew that the jar contained all the misfortunes in the world, and that Pandora would be a keeper of these mysteries. Zeus reminded Pandora every year on her birthday how wonderfully she had been gifted, and that she was indeed a gift to this earth. He loved to watch her beauty and curiosity grow, and every time Pandora would ask him about the jar, his answer would be the same. "You ought to keep the jar secure and closed, never open it, for that would be a great misfortune." Pandora, wanting to please Zeus in every way, much like a good daughter wishes to please her father, obeyed for many, many years. And as the years passed, her curiosity grew even more than before. Anyone who looked upon her, even the gods, were taken with wonder. She was a sight to behold, her auburn hair flowing like waves upon the sea. Pandora often adorned her hair with flowers, leaves, and pretty things. She loved to be admired for her beauty, but at the same time, she wished that folks would also look at her and behold her other skills, her active mind, her depth of character and strength of will. One day, when Pandora was of marrying age, she was sent by Hermes to Epimetheus, the twin brother of Prometheus. Now, Epimetheus and Prometheus were titans. They were strong and powerful, and known among the land for their skills and physical abilities. Epimetheus represented nature and materialism, and did not possess the foresight that Prometheus did. His brother, knowing his weaknesses, had warned Epimetheus that accepting any gift from other gods was unwise, especially a woman. And yet, Epimetheus had a tendency to listen to cravings of his physical body, without minding his thoughts and common sense first. In the past, he had heeded his brother's strong warnings, but not today. Today, he saw, standing before him, the loveliest creature on earth. When he gazed into her eyes, he felt as if he was swimming in the depths of the ocean, and, at the same time, flying on the weightless clouds above. When she spoke, "Hello," his senses seemed to escape him completely. He stood in awe that Zeus would give him such an incredible gift. Epimetheus forgot completely about his twin brother's warning and took Pandora as his wife. As she prepared for the wedding, Pandora's heart was filled with love for her soon-to-be husband. He entertained her and seemed to understand her mental state. While other males she had encountered before seemed bothered by her incessant questions, this one did not. In fact, on most days, Epimetheus welcomed the strange curiosity of his betrothed. It made her do things other women would not, creative things, beautiful things. Pandora was eager to learn, and it showed in the way she passed her days. She would never sit idle, her mind was too busy for that. She asked Epimetheus to teach her about the harvest, the weather, the seasons, the changes in nature and in the earth. He told her all he knew, how the world was created by gods, and the same gods were responsible for many of the natural events she could see and feel with her own eyes. He also taught her how to understand animals in the way that he did, how to appreciate their presence and communicate with them. He taught her that all living creatures needed each other, both for companionship and for sustenance. And he also taught her the ways of love, what it felt like to be held and cherished by another being, the warmth of an embrace, and the closeness of a beating heart that could be both felt and heard in the night. These were all the things the young couple enjoyed together in the days leading up to their wedding. And as those days passed, their intimacy grew. This heightened their dependency on one another, and although Pandora and Epimetheus were not alike in many ways, they learned by spending time together how much their differences balanced the other. Soon, it was time for the great wedding, and those who had heard of the lovely couple had come from all corners of the earth to pay their respects. On that fateful day, Pandora sat in her chambers, combing her hair and lathering her skin with sweet balms and essential oils. She thought many happy thoughts, as well as many curious thoughts. She hoped she would be a good wife to her husband. She thought of all the meals she would prepare for him and all the adventures they would go on together. Her lover had promised to take her sailing on the ocean and teach her new languages which he had been taught by people from other lands. She imagined what their children would be like, look like, and feel like. And as Pandora was thinking all these thoughts, her mind wandered to the jar. That mysterious jar, the one Zeus had instructed her so long ago never to open. Oh, but what could be the harm in it? She wondered aloud. Surely Zeus was only testing me, as he does so many times with other humans, and even with other gods. Surely he only wants my obedience and subservience, and haven't I remained faithful for so long? Obedient for so long? Oh, if I never know what is inside that jar, I feel as if I will perish from curiosity. In the end, Pandora could take it no longer. She heard the sounds of wedding music, the chants of those preparing to celebrate outside. She felt that if she never opened the jar, then, alas, she might regret not knowing. Slowly, she let her ivory comb slip to the floor and reached out her hands to cradle the mysterious haunting jar instead. Carefully, and with utmost gentleness, she eased the jar's lid and twisted it until it gave way. Pandora heard the whispers, even before her eyes beheld the box's contents. They were whispers of strange things. Pandora froze as the spirits of pain, ghosts of dark and unfriendly things began to pour out of the jar, swirling around the room. They were the spirits of misery, depression, sadness, and agony. Pandora had never seen or felt such grief before. Immediately, she was sorry she had disobeyed Zeus. She wondered what calamities she had allowed out into the world. She tried to cover the jar with the lid, but it was too late. Evil had escaped, making its way out into the world. Her soon-to-be husband came rushing in. As he heard the commotion coming from her room, he found Pandora, tears streaming down her face. "What have you done?" he cried. But one look and he knew at once. The secret was out. Not only Pandora's secret, but many more. The secrets of darkness set loose into the world. "I was curious. Too curious," cried Pandora, embracing her husband as if seeking his forgiveness. "I was curious too," he admitted to her, not knowing what else to say. He looked at the jar, its lid now back in its place. "Not all the spirits escaped," said Pandora with remorse. They both turned to the jar and heard a voice. "Keep me with you always, just as you kept me before," said the soft and kind voice inside the jar. "Who are you?" cried Pandora, her eyes wet with tears. After a few moments of silence, the two of them heard the kind voice speak again, and this time they felt no fear, no pain, no disappointment. "I am the one that remains when all hell breaks loose. I am the one you can choose to cherish or to let go of," said the voice. It was soft and calm and filled the two humans with peace and stillness. "I am the one that stands by your side if you let me," the voice continued. "I am the light in the darkest hour. They call me Hope." The young couple, still frozen in embrace, felt a wave of something good cover them in that moment. Without saying a word to each other, they knew that this one spirit was full of goodness. "When you need me, I am here," continued Hope. "Just call my name. Hold the jar in your hands and I will be close to your heart. I exist for you and for all mankind." "Then we must not keep you for ourselves," said Pandora after a long silence. "We must set you free, for all men and women and children must know. They must know the truth, that on this day it was I, Pandora, who allowed the misery and pain to enter the world. But they must also know I gave them you. I gave them hope." "Set me free as you wish," said Hope, "and in return, I will comfort you whenever you need me. I remain your loyal spirit." It was Hesiod, the Greek poet, who first wrote the story of Pandora's jar in 700 BC. We don't know if, when the poet told this story, he was conveying an ideal world before the jar was opened, or if he meant that it was better for human beings to know sadness and pain. But we do know that in the original myth, hope remained, and it is this spirit that we need in the world now more than ever. As the story goes, Pandora and Epimetheus went on to marry, to live together, and to give birth to a daughter. That daughter went on to be one of the only surviving humans after a legendary deluge nearly wiped out the human race. Today, we say to open a Pandora's box as an expression of allowing situations to worsen with one small action which may or may not be avoided. Yet, so many remember the evils unleashed on the world when the jar was opened, and forget what remained. I wanted to tell you this story tonight, to remind you that what remains in the world is there for all men and women to cherish. Hope, no matter how small or dim its light. Hope when all is lost. Hope when everything you love is gone. Hope when you feel there is nothing left. Hope when no other human being understands your heart. As you go to sleep tonight, your mind may be full of troublesome cares and worries, and some darkness may cloud your vision. But don't forget that no matter what happens in your world, you too can keep hope close, tucked away in your heart, alive in your mind, and present in your soul. And you can pull hope out whenever you need comfort. Let hope reside now, inside your heart. Let hope give you the courage to live with whatever sadness or hopelessness may also be present in your world. Let hope be your guide as you journey now to a peaceful rest. Let it hold your hand as you slumber. Let it guide your dreams, your desires, your secret wishes. Yes, there will be other less joyful things in life. Yes, the world is full of negative spirits and less than pleasurable things. But hope can still remain, if you allow it. Thank you for joining me for this story on Soothing Pod. If you liked this myth from ancient Greece, loved its mystery, and enjoyed the magic, then please come back next time for more. Good night and sweet dreams. I'll be with you again tomorrow.